Oh, that the hills are alive with the sound of the internet. It's you, the internet. Oh, internet, internet. Surprises! It's the internet, and you are in it, and we are interneting. What's up, internet? What's going on? It's Sunday. Welcome to the live stream. TITI first to the live chat. What's going on? As the title of the live stream, what did I put as the title this Sunday? I am finally beginning to plant the 240 gallon aquascaped aquarium. So we're getting onto that today. I went and actually picked up some plants from a local plant store, and I think I'll give you guys a shout out to him whenever I figure out his store, which will probably not be today. Maybe some other day. Now, quick story on the store that I went to. The store that I went to used to be located near my old house in West Seattle. Now I live in Tacoma, and he moved his store, and I was super sad when his store closed the doors and made it a lot farther for me to go to get any kind of random stuff that I needed on the day that I needed it. And also the some of the tanks that he had like alligator gar that were like 9 feet long. Those are some of the tanks that he had in his store. So also because of the ability to just go walk around and check out the crazy stuff in his store, he had this really big store, and it was one of those stores that had a whole bunch of dry goods and stuff like that, which was always nice because if I found something that I was out of, I could just jam down the road and he would normally have it, whatever it was. Almost every single time that guy would have it, very specific stuff to the planted aquarium or any aquarium stuff. That guy really has got it because that's all that store is about. They also have some aquaponics and hydroponic type stuff at that store, like fertilizers and stuff like that and, whatever. But really cool store, really cool dude. I was kind of sad when he moved. Turns out this new store is in Federal Way, Washington, which is not that far from me. It's not walking distance at all. I definitely have to drive there, but I will say it was super nice to see a friendly face. Super cool dude. He's always got his kid there with him, which is awesome at the store. And so it was great to see a guy I hadn't seen in a long time and realized that he had opened up a shop somewhere else. I didn't know. I never gotten any kind of notification that he had opened a new shop. Last time I had talked to him, he would have had to buy the building and property in order to stay where he was at, and so he was just shutting it down. And then, but now apparently resurrected, which is super cool. That's fantastic. It's really the first aquarium store person, whatever kind of thing I've run into here in the South End that I legitimately I know that guy. So that was pretty cool. And as we go through the video here today, I'll be showing you some of the plants that I picked up, why I picked them up. It wasn't really on my agenda to pick up any plants today, but we'll get to why I ended up picking them up, and I'll show you in kind of a detailed video here why I picked them up and what I got, which is I guess part of the big part of the live stream today. And then another part of the live stream will be actually planting some of the plants we got today. I'll be planting them throughout the week as I kind of stage the areas and add in the plants and stuff. And then I can also give you guys kind of a little bit of a detail on each plant that is going in. And I certainly do not have every single plant that is going to go into the 240 yet, but he has a bunch of them that I wanted, and he had a couple there still that I left that I didn't bother to pick up today because there wasn't really any, beneficial reason to grab them today. But a couple of the other plants that I have there, and then of course the list goes on. So honestly, I'm really encouraged today by actually getting some plants into the tank. I know it has been a long road, and I really appreciate you guys coming along with me on this road to get the tanks running again. Very happy to be at this stage of getting some life in there. The internet, talking to you via various technologies on the internet. Yes. Thank you for showing up, internet. Spicy McRectum, as always, and Joel Gillett, along with TITI, are here in the live chat, which is fantastic. It's great to see Canada, New Zealand, and I have no idea where TITI lives or comes from. Space. I'm going to guess space. So we're being represented by the space. We're being represented by Canada and New Zealand and America, because I'm in America, I think. Although it is questionable at this point. Feel My Swag, what's up? It is great to see Feel My Swag 15 also. All regular subscribers, you know what I'm saying? Here's one thing that I wanted to mention, because I just said subscribers. I wanted to mention this today. The channel here has eclipsed something that I have never eclipsed before. I actually have 0 subscribers for the last month. I've never had that happen. I was checking the analytics earlier today. I kind of check them every 3-4 days or something like that. And there have been so many subscribers that have removed themselves that they've nullified all of the new subscribers. So nuts to all you that are leaving. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. Because, hopefully at least you're a good enough person not to get hit by doors. But thank you to all the new subscribers for leveling out the mass exodus. So that works for me. It works. I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully you guys like it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. It's all right. But that was definitely a funny marker to look through there and realize, like, oh, wait a minute. So we had, hold on, I can't remember exactly what it was. Let's, we gotta click the button over here that needs clicking. Oh, here it is. So we've gained 123 subscribers and lost 123 subscribers over the last 28 days. So maybe it's not a month. Maybe we'll kick in a couple days here and maybe level out the month. But that's what's up. And I thought that was super funny. I'd like to share that with you guys. I thought that was funny. But those of you all that stay true to showing up, thank you, because it's fun. Otherwise, I'd just be talking to myself or space. Pro Skater 711. Pro Skater 711. That is an interesting handle. Never seen you in the live chat before. Welcome to the internet, where we all live and reside. I wouldn't be surprised to find out 50 years from now if we're all just electronic internet people. That wouldn't shock me all that much. But as we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, we got to do the little business part. Hey, if you want to support the channel, just like Joel Gillott from New Zealand, you can super chat and drop $1, $2, $5, whatever you like. Corey is the current reigning champion of the super chat. Corey from Aquarium Co-op with a $50 super chat. He's the reigning champion of super chatting. Much appreciate from my boy up in Edmonds, Corey. Thank you, and much appreciate everyone else for sure. All of the super chat money has gone to buying plants today, so that's where your money goes. If you're wondering where, if you kick in a couple bucks, where does it go? I dump it right back into the fish room. That is what I do with it. And the second way to support the channel is head to darkstararts.com. That is my website, and you can click through the Amazon banner and go buy, let's see, adult diapers and boomerangs. Let's see. You could buy beer steins and igloo building material, machetes, and chocolate sauce. I don't know. You can buy whatever you want on Amazon. It doesn't change the price. It doesn't do anything like that. All it does is say that we sent you there. And people don't seem to be using that anymore, so who knows? Maybe people don't like being tracked by the internet. But guess what? You are being tracked whether you like it or not. And whatever you click through could just end up going to Mark Zuckerberg's pockets. So keep that in mind. That if you are going to do online shopping, to click through the small people. You don't necessarily have to do mine, but try to support the small advertisers out there, or whatever you want to call them. I have been eliminating ads from the channel as much as I can. I've turned off almost every kind of ad source to this, and pretty soon, if we get to a point where everyone is donating X amount, whatever that number is, then there will be no more ads. You guys will eliminate any kind of ads from this if you guys are contributing and stuff. So I don't know who sees ads. That's up to you, whether you use ad blocker or any of that kind of stuff. But the fan contribution can easily squash that and get rid of ads if that is something that you guys are all interested in. Me, I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I would like to get rid of ads altogether and not really have anything to do, and then just could basically just talk about whatever we want to talk about and not have to worry about any of that stuff, because I don't have any real advertisers, so I don't even know whatever plays whenever you guys click on any of the ads. So I don't have any control over that, and that's not something that I do. But either way. All right, we got the business stuff out of the way, so now we can get on to what was going on today with the 240. As you guys have, if you have been watching, it has been a bit of a struggle to get the 240 going, but the 240 is running now. Those of you that know that the chocolate milk has been an issue, as I commonly refer to chocolate milk, is the detritus and dust and fish mulm, aka fish shit, that gets mixed up with using old substrate. So I've been working my way through that. We're getting to a point where I'm winning and it's losing. So that is good, but the water is not fully clear yet. So trigger warning, murky water ahead. Not in a bad way, just in the fact that the mulm is still getting stirred up and filtered from the tank. Though I've been swapping out the filter floss, and that is coming along just as expected, pretty much. I figured it was probably going to take about a week's time of doing the filtering, and then I'll do a big water change once I've gotten to that point. So let's go on to the first scene of the night. The scene. TITI is asking, before we go on to the first scene, so that's one of the things. If you show up for the live stream, you get an opportunity to throw up into the chat, especially if you super chat. You can just sidebar whatever I'm doing, because I will probably see it and start responding to it. I don't have a secondary person here to talk back and forth to. That's where you guys come in. That's what this is all about. That's the whole reason I've been doing these live streams every single time that we throw a video up instead. So it's kind of fun. So we're gonna, before we hit the next scene, we're gonna answer TITI's question. What fish were you thinking for the 240 again? I thought you said pistos, or however the hell you say that. Pistogramas are the most likely main fish that are gonna go into this tank, and then I'm also going to be adding some community fish that won't really disturb them all that much. A few things here and there will be going in. Probably a few really decorative small plecos, not any common plecos that get super big. Probably some Synodontis is it not? Synodontis cats or whatever, those little kind of pleco-y dudes. And probably some like real kind of community kind of colory fish, maybe like a neon or something along those lines. It's really up to availability at this point. I think some ember. Some green ember rasboras would probably be pretty cool in this tank if I can get a big enough school. The only problem is most people retail them at like $250 a piece or something like that, so that will add up really quickly, but there's a possibility that I might be able to just wholesale some of those guys. So if we can wholesale, then I can definitely start working on doing a really big kind of small fish that won't mess with the apistos in this tank. That's what I'm kind of looking to do. But if we end up going retail, then I got to kind of bend and sway with what is exactly available retail-wise. But hopefully we'll be able to do that. We'll see. I've put out a couple of emails and stuff like that to some people, and we'll see what happens. But apistos are on the list. We have them sourced. Potato, one of our great moderators on this channel, is breeding them in Oregon right now. So hopefully, I don't know exactly what the timeline is, but if we're talking about a month or something down the line while I keep planting and getting this tank 100% dialed in, then we'll be like kind of perfectly in line to move some of those up from down there up into the tank here. And I'm pretty stoked because the last time that we were talking, he was texting me. He was saying that he had a couple of different lines that he was trying to breed together. So it might actually work out in everyone's benefit if we take a couple of those and then bring them up here and get them breeding up here, which would be totally cool. Joel Gillott's like 4 minutes behind, but I get it. He's saying that when I buy a house, I'll buy it on Amazon so I get a cut. All right. If that's possible, then do it. If you're going to buy a big flat screen TV or anything, large purchases, be sure to go through darkstararts.com Amazon banner before you order that stuff. Though it doesn't matter if you order toothbrushes or gold Lamborghinis. It doesn't really matter what you buy on there. Like I said, it doesn't change the price. It doesn't do anything like that. It just says that we sent you, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't really track anything other than that. Here's the thing that's kind of interesting. All I ever end up knowing, I don't know who or anybody or where or why or any of that stuff. All I am told is what product you bought so that I could like put it into the store if I wanted to and highlight it or something. I don't know. But everybody buys all sorts of random stuff. It's always like tubing or like a filter or something. And like, I don't know that I really need to tell you guys like, hey, buy a canister filter. If you're going to buy one, you're probably just going to buy one anyhow. So it seems a little bit odd to throw that in. But we do not have any current questions. Oh, wait, we do. Hold on. Eddie is here. What's up, Eddie? I've been watching your live streams but could not play it, so I can chat only, was able to watch and listen. Didn't realize I had to update my YouTube app and Google Chrome. Great to join you now. Okay, yeah. If everything is not, if everything isn't up to date on your stuff, make sure you update your apps and stuff. If you're watching this after the fact and not being able to pop in on the live streams and stuff like that, be sure to update everything. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And that exact same thing happened to me a while ago when I was trying to get on to, I think Jay had texted me, Jay Wilson had said, hey, check it out, we got a thing going. And I was like, oh, I wanted to hop on there. And I couldn't comment. I could actually watch it, but I couldn't comment for whatever reason. It wasn't working right, and I realized that I hadn't updated anything because I had my Wi-Fi turned off for like a month on my phone. So my phone, as soon as I turned my Wi-Fi back on, my phone just went into full-on update mode, and then I didn't have any clue where any of the buttons were after that because it had, however long it had been, there things all completely changed and looked all totally different and stuff, which is pretty funny. Yeah, Spicy McRectum, you have a good point. What I'm saying is that you should definitely build your house out of toothpicks and buy them all through the Amazon banner. So once you build your toothpick house, you'll slowly, incrementally acquire a small empire of toothpick purchasing fees. Honestly, it's not a ton of money from Amazon or anything like that, and it's just actually goes against my Amazon Prime account. So it just basically pays that kind of stuff and ends up Just covering the shipping and stuff like that is all it ever really accumulates to. Nothing totally crazy, but it's worthwhile if you guys want to support and you don't necessarily want to, super chat a couple bucks or whatever. It's all good. Hey, it's 2 options. You can do it or not. Don't know why you don't have thousands more watching your live streams. I think they're great. I would have to agree with you. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get any of this stuff half of the time. More often than not, I watch people's stuff out there and I see, wow, this guy has 400,000 views on this video of some dude just hitting some drywall with a hammer. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it's cool. Actually, I do have a slight insight because I recently talked to a very knowledgeable, what do you call it? Social media networking person, representative, whatever you call that. Somebody who runs the kind of social media campaigns for well-to-do people, whatever. I don't know exactly what the thing is, but they had a bunch of recommendations for all these SEO, search engine optimization type stuff to get a lot more people involved. And, realistically, when we went through that conversation, I said, hey, look, I'm into the more organic stuff. I'm into organic growth. I don't sign up and have a whole bunch of bots like subscribe to the channel or any of that kind of stuff. I just don't. It's just not something that I'm into. I don't want to like falsely inflate whatever the hell I'm doing. I would rather it just be legitimate people and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I've always done it, and that's how I'm going to keep doing it. That's what's up with me, because I just don't. It feels disingenuous to me if you are, hiring some outside company to, click a bunch of cell phones in their farm to follow your stuff. It's just weird. It's just weird to me, and I think that if that's the reality of where, people need to go in order to get wherever they're going, cool, man, do what you want. But this is how I'm going to keep doing this. As Dwayne says, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Maybe we'll get +1 subscriber for this month. As we talked about earlier, we have a net 0 as of today. I'm sure it'll change by tomorrow and probably drop down or go up or whatever. But either way, I just thought that was super funny to have a net 0 subscribers. It was pretty funny. Oh yeah, TITI has a good point. When structurally engineering your house built out of toothpicks, don't forget to incorporate large and small marshmallows in order to get proper adhesion and load bearing along whatever exterior walls that you're adding. You will need the small marshmallows and the large marshmallows, though. You can't just have one size when building a structure out of toothpicks, if you know what I'm saying. You need to make sure that you have the right marshmallows for the job. So that's very important. Lucky Charms don't come in at all to this play, unless you want to eat them. Unless you need to eat Lucky Charms. I wouldn't recommend eating bagged cereal garbage like that. But hey, to each his own. I ate donuts yesterday. I ate a whole bunch of donuts. Vicky bought a bunch of donuts. And I gotta say, I have a sweet tooth nowadays, if you know what I'm saying. And I just couldn't resist the donuts, man. I feel like I kind of woke up this morning feeling like I had diabetes because I ate those donuts, and then I went to Wonder Woman and ate a bunch of candy there, too. And I woke up feeling like crap and realized that's why I don't normally eat that way. But it's so delicious. Feel My Swag with the first super chat of the night. Says he's a longtime subscriber, loves the channel, keep doing what I'm doing. Oh, when the shrimp tank is running, pick a shrimp and name it Swag. Deal. That is a deal. I will definitely name one of my shrimp Feel My Swag, but it would have to be like a bamboo shrimp or something that's sizable. It would have to be like kind of a sizable shrimp. So I think I'll have to go through and find a Feel My Swag legit swagger shrimp. It can't just be an everyday average run-of-the-mill crystal shrimp, if you know what I'm saying. So, and I do know that bamboo shrimp will be making a resurgence in the fish room if Vicky has anything to say about it, and she does. So I'm sure, I'm thinking that a bamboo shrimp would have to be Feel My Swag for sure. My crazy thumb is sort of growing back. I don't know how well the picture is here, but I will say it is a marvel of engineering that my body is regrowing a nail where there was nothing but bone. I mean, even the orthopedic surgeon was like, there is no nail bed left back there. You'll probably never have a nail. But it is, weirdly enough, regenerating down here and growing out from out this all crazy way. So I don't know. Marvel of the human body, somehow get this stuff just like growing back. Super weird. And it's all super pointy and odd shaped right now. But hopefully the meat will grow back and we'll see what happens. I'm getting totally sidetracked on whatever we were here to do on the live stream, but I feel like that's half of the fun. Okay, I fast forwarded the last 5 minutes. I hope nothing interesting happened. Well, Joel Gillett, you missed it. It was all the interesting, good stuff happened after you. You have to You missed all the good stuff over the last 5 minutes. Dwayne Kitchell is asking, is that tree painting in the background going to change? Yes, it is going to change. As a matter of fact, I had somebody here asking about that yesterday in person, was saying, when is that thing going to change? Honestly, I need to get a day in order to work on it. I don't have enough time with getting the fish room going, with all the crazy summer projects I got going right now. With all the remodel projects, and I just added 2 more projects today, which we'll talk about in the live stream, because I bet you Long Woo will probably show up. I actually went to his house today, so I really just need a day to hammer on that thing and get some serious progress on it done. Everything is laid out. It's ready to go. But me as a painter, I'm one of those guys, I have to get everything set out. I got to mix my paints. I got to blah, blah, blah. And just the timeline is just missing for getting some of these paintings done. And I know that the time will come back. The time will appear, and I'll have these like kind of breaks in with being busy. But right now, it being the summertime, I got to make some of that cheddar to hopefully get my fish room rocking, if you know what I'm saying. And that really, that really is the problem right now. I just haven't had a lot of time. I do have some paintings lined up. I have a new series that we're going to be doing. It's a triptych of 3 dead musicians that recently died. We'll probably do a David Bowie, a Prince, and I just hit myself in the head because I can't remember. What is it? David Bowie, Prince, Chris Cornell would be the 3rd one. I'm going to do a triptych of those and probably get them hung up locally. We'll see how that goes. Who knows? It just really boils down to time. If I stay here and not do work, then I'm not going to make money. Even though I could opt to take the day, there's no guarantee that my paintings will ever sell. So if I do that, it could really start a conversation between me and Vicky if I'm skipping work to do other work, if you know what I'm saying. So right now we're just hammering on making these mortgage payments and rocking this stuff out, and it's kind of what we need to do right now. So it's just a matter of time before that painting will get done back there. Let's see. TITA is asking, how do you give money on the live stream? Actually, if you just go down to the super chat function down in the bottom of the chat, you can click on that, and then you can link through and donate however much money you want. $100 million is preferred, but 5 is pretty standard. 2 is standard. 1 is standard. I don't think you can go below $1, though. I think that's the minimum that they allow you to. But $100 million is a good amount to throw into the super chat. It just seems pretty reasonable to me, just a pretty standard issue number. But you can do it down there. If anybody is really confused about that, I've never actually had to do it. I've never actually had the opportunity to do it myself. Mainly because most of the live streams that I've ever popped into, there was a whole bunch of super chatting going on already, and it just seemed, I don't know, redundant. So as we go here, about a Greenleaf CO2 system about to install. First time using CO2. Eddie, great. It's awesome to get into CO2, and I wouldn't worry too heavily about surface agitation. A lot of people say surface agitation is a big deal with the CO2, and it honestly isn't that big of a deal. Gas off will happen regardless of surface agitation. I mean, you don't want your stuff just shooting straight up, your filter shooting straight up and splashing water all around all crazy, but just a little bit of ripple in the water is not really going to be that big of a deal. Let's see, we're looking through the chat. Doo-doo! Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of laughing because I'm trying to keep this. Tai Hang is asking, do I have a chicken coop or do they free range all the time? I actually do have a chicken coop that I close the door on every night. We have a crafty raccoon down here in Tacoma who has been eyeballing our chickens. And those of you that know about raccoons and chickens relationships is chickens will be eaten by raccoons, thusly murdered by raccoons, and consumed because raccoons is hungry. So I do close them up every night, and there are a lot of coyotes down here in Tacoma. There were a lot of coyotes in West Seattle also. Coyotes are super prolific wherever people live. They're just hyper adapted to living where people live, and they will always be around, and they will never be eradicated. It will never happen. So what I do, I go out at about 9:30 every night and close the door. They go in there themselves when it gets dark out. They will just go up in their coop and be in there, and I'll just shut the door so nobody can go in there and borrow a chicken or two, namely a coyote or a raccoon. And but otherwise, they're kind of free reigning about a third of our backyard, free ranging back there. They just kind of they have this area they roam around. That area is going to get a little bit smaller as we're building into the garden, which is something that's upcoming. We laid out a bunch of bricks and blah 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 today, which you guys will end up seeing later on as things go along. Dwayne has pointed out something with $100 million super chat is that YouTube will get a large percentage of it. So maybe if you do have the $100 million to donate, maybe just give me a call and we'll just wire transfer, maybe PayPal or something. It's a good point. It's a good point. They do take a cut. Well, anyhow, we're about halfway through the live stream here, so let's get into some of the scenes of what was happening today. We do have a video here that seems to be shot by somebody who may or may not have mental problems. Me, that is who I'm talking about. And so hopefully you guys will be able to get a good idea of what's going on. Look at that sweet zoom-in action. It's like... Oh, sorry, my cinematographer skills are kind of lacking today, so things may or may not be framed up all that properly, but hopefully we'll get a good idea of what's going on. So as you guys can see down here in the sump, I have a bunch of potted plants just holding in the sump. And these are some of the plants that I purchased today. Most of them are crypticorn. I believe there's a couple other species in there. Today, we're going to be highlighting Wendetti Green. Wendetti Green will be the plant that we're planting today. Now, the reason that I picked up these potted plants, first of all, local store for sure. Go ahead. I like to buy stuff local from the local homies. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're a store or just a local person. That is where I like to throw my money. If my money is going anywhere, I like to throw it to people who are actually just kind of doing work. I have no problem with Petco, PetSmart, or any of that kind of stuff, but if the opportunity arises to give it to some local stuff, that's where my money's going. Like, Jim's gas station or any of that kind of stuff. Instead of, going with these conglomerate corporations, I always try to give my money to somebody who's locally doing work, Now, the reason I bought these plants today, I had an idea in my head that I probably was going to buy a few things. As you guys can see, I got some undulata, some red Wendetti. I'm trying to just remember all the stuff that I got. But mainly everything here is crypts. I want to get my big crypt garden going back. I love crypts. I love them. I love them plants. I love crypts. I just can't express it enough. Crypts are probably my favorite plants. Cryptonubias, carpeting plant. Oh, man. Let's just be honest here. I pretty much love just about any plant that will grow in an aquarium. Even duckweed. I do love duckweed also. But now the reason I bought these plants, and I didn't do a time lapse here, is because I wanted you guys to get a good idea and look at some of the pots here. Now, when you go to a store, this is the kind of pot that you're looking for as far as a potted plant. You see all these baby plants. You see how overgrown the pot is. You see how many extra plants there are in here. I'm just going to tell you, so the Crypt Wendetti Green that I pulled apart today and planted, that's coming up later in the video here, one pot I pulled 22 separate plants out of one pot. Okay? Now the reason that these are the ones that I buy is for two reasons. Now, reason one, there's a large amount of plants in these pots that have been sitting in the store for probably a couple months and just growing within the pots. Now, the second reason, they're fully established to an aquarium. They're fully established to a submerged environment. They have been submerged long enough that they have adapted to being fully underwater and are growing underwater. So those are the main reasons I bought these plants today, because their pots were just overflowing with plants. A lot of people are surprised to find that farms actually grow these plants immersed, which means they're above, the leaves are above the water. The roots are below the water. The leaves are above the water. They'll get the plant. They'll ship it out to the store. The store will put it in the tank for a couple of days, and then the plant will start adapting to living underwater. Now, oftentimes that plant gets purchased really quickly and by somebody. They bring it home and then it dies because it hasn't adapted. It hasn't adapted to living underwater. Now, when they're farmed, they have to be farmed immersed, because you can't be sending algae out and all these problems from growing plants underneath the water. Plus, they grow so much faster above the water line like that. That's how farms do it, and they will continue to do it that way. They won't change the way that they do it. That's the way that they have to do it in order to keep their business rolling properly. They're not going to do that. And, even today when I was talking to Long, some of the plants that he had picked up at the store, some of the leaves had melted off, and that is why, because they were grown above water, shipped out to a store, you come and buy them, then you bring them home, and then, oh no, they die, and then you throw them out because you got a problem. Oh, and we have a super chat from Potato of 10 American dollars. And it's gold. Look at that. So I guess if you super chat, it turns different colors. That's unbeknownst to me. He says he's glad to see things are going places, short on time or not. I'm short on time. I'm just trying to fit everything in. Vicky, it seems like I'm starting to irritate Vicky with all this crap I got to do. But I'm doing the best I can to keep her happy, keep me happy, keep all this stuff going. So it's going slower than I wanted it to go, but things are going. So that is the whole end game here. Thank you very much, Potato, my boy. I'm coming down to Oregon fairly soon, and we're gonna creep you out. We have this this wedding for our friends of ours is coming up next weekend, and then it looks like we're gonna have a couple of free weekends that we're gonna be home and just working on stuff the whole time. So that's gonna be dope, and hopefully we're gonna be able to zip down there and come check out your nonsense. Those of you that don't know, that don't have my phone in their pocket, Potato texted me a picture today of the coffin that he made for his bride, which seems serviceable. But so as I was saying, with this potted plant, you can see how jammed in this plant has grown in and become root bound. But these are the plants that you want to buy at the store. I mean, I know that store owners and stuff like that would find this to be a little bit of a negative comment, in a way. But these are the potted plants that you want to buy. These are the ones that you want to buy. You don't want to buy the ones that necessarily just came in. Store owners are going to have a store, and it's going to be good for them to just keep those plants growing in there and give them an opportunity, although they would much rather probably sell them quickly. So that's probably why they wouldn't like me saying that. But these are the potted plants that you want to find, the ones that don't have algae on them too much, and then have been growing very well and have clearly been in and at the store for a long time. You know, one of the plants you can look down there is the whole entire outside of it is baby plants. There's all these shoots coming out from the rock wool with all the baby plants on the outside of the pot, which, you know, they don't ship them that way. They don't ship them like that to the store. Although maybe they have at some point in time, who knows? But these are the pots that you're looking for. You can see here, now what I'm removing here is called rock wool. Rock wool is it's basically a product that how they start the seedlings in. It's really easy to put seeds or small runners into the rock wool, and then it will hold it in that little basket there. Allow them to grow, and then when it's time, they can pull it out with the basket and ship it out to the store owner, and then they have that little basket so that they can put it on display in their sale tanks. But this rock wool long-term in your tank is a bad idea to have in your tank. So you need to go through this bunch of plants. You can see me doing it in the video right there. I'm pulling apart the plant, and I'm separating all of the little plants within that have grown in here. Each one of those little shoots and little runners and all that kind of stuff is an individual plant. Although, like I said earlier, I got 22 plants out of this, minus, I'm not counting all of the really tiny ones that came out, which those I just throw down in the sump and give them a chance to grow in the sump a little bit, and then get moved into another tank if they're doing well. But yeah, you know, I think this pot of plants was like $6.99, so like $7. $7 for like 22 plants. That's a pretty decent deal in my opinion. Typically, because when you normally get these plants, you get about 5 runners out of a little rock wool pot from the distributor. So once you start breaking that down and figure out how many plants you get going, the math really starts to kind of make sense that you're getting closer to a wholesale-ish price when you're grabbing these plants instead of paying that full retail and you know, kind of feeling screwed by the end of it, even though you still got the product, because it's not like a mystery that because you actually have the product in your hand. It's not like it's shipping in the mail or something and hoping that's going to work out. But these are the potted plants that you're looking for. And like I said, when I'm in the store, I kind of go around and pick out the ones that have been there, have been established, and have grown in and have had an opportunity to get fully acclimated to growing underwater and are actually growing underwater. Those are the healthy plants, you know. This isn't like a puppy mill where you can just go get a runt puppy and take care of it for the rest of its life, and if you don't, you end up feeling bad. These are just plants. You want to pick the healthy ones, you want to pick the good ones, and don't feel bad about the other plants that aren't going to do well. That's just nature. It's just nature. Don't get freaked out by it. You know, think of it in a way of a vegan or whatever. You wouldn't freak out about eating a carrot or in that kind of situation. So be selective when you're buying your plants, and just go this route. And I've found it to be the more helpful, friendly route. And also, here's the fun part of getting this many plants in a pot. It's probably going to take me all week to get all these plants planted, because I'm probably going to do 1 pot a day every single day as we go through and get all the different species and get them sorted out into their areas where they're going to be in the 240 gallon. These are all crypts, so all the crypts are going to be going into the left-hand side of the tank. And I don't necessarily want to plant them like a Dutch and just have circle spots or anything like that, but I want to have like kind of flowing areas of which plant is going to be where. Obviously, some of them are taller and bigger than the other ones, so the smaller ones need to go to the front, the bigger ones need to go to the back, and that's just kind of the the rhythm that I'm going to be following as far as planting going. But it definitely will probably take me a week to go through every single one, because it does take time to divide them all up, make sure they're healthy, get the rock wool out, get all that kind of stuff segregated, and then planting all of them takes some time. So that's also a benefit too, because now I'm actually getting my dollar amount in how many plants I'm going to be planting also. So I'm actually going to get to have the opportunity to plant some of the stuff, and it take a little more time than just sticking my tongs in there 4 times and then walking away. So I actually have some time to sort through the plants, figure out which ones I want to put, where I'm going to put them, and have a little zen moment that is longer than 30 seconds of planting. And Joel Gillett with a super chat of New Zealand money. Joel Gillett with New Zealand money. Hold on a second. I need to get... They've changed the controls here on XSplit. Okay, so there we go. So we need this one to loop around a couple times, because this one actually is a time lapse. But Joel Gillett with a super chat of either A, come see me in New Zealand, or B, I'll come see you when you come to Washington. These streams have become my favorite. Appreciate your sacrifice to make them happen. Yes, Victoria has chimed in on Joel's super chat. We should do both of that. Okay? We should definitely do both. Honestly, you should come here first, because we're kind of booked up on our travel for this year, I think. Me being hobo poor and us trying to travel a lot has become a little bit difficult, but we are booked to go to Alaska, and we went to Kentucky, and we have done a few things, and that's all motivated and followed through on by Victoria. Otherwise, I would probably just be sleeping under a bridge down by the river. You know what I'm saying? But yes, come out here. We do have a spare room. Come stay at our house. All Joels are welcome. We could have a sea of Joels hanging out, barbecuing in the backyard, if you know what I'm saying. Somebody deleted a comment. That was weird. Eddie is asking if I am familiar with the newer Jibao PP8 power heads. Totally adjustable and very powerful. I have a new one, but not being used. If you want it, can use it. I'll ship it to you if so. That would be cool. If you have an extra power head or whatever. I think I'm pretty much set up with power heads. I'm not really going to need very many for my freshwater, but I do need to go through as I'm setting up the saltwater tank, and I haven't done a ton of that. But I do have some news on the saltwater tank. It is on the stand. Me and 3 ladies put it up on a stand. Victoria grabbed one corner, Stacy grabbed one corner, and Rafe grabbed another corner, and I grabbed a corner also. It is up on the stand, and Carson never showed up today, so I am glad that I asked the ladies to do the heavy lifting and help put the 180 up onto the stand, because Carson never showed up again. So who knows? I hope he's okay. I hope him and his baby and his wife are fine, but they never showed up, so we got it on the stand, though. And some of the plumbing will start happening and getting the equipment sorted out. I have used Jibao equipment. I use their pumps. I use their power heads. I really dig their equipment. Yes, they are a cheaper, I think they're Taiwanese company. I think they're made in Taiwan. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But I think that they are... I think they're in Taiwan, and I really appreciate their equipment, and the pricing also is very reasonable. Maybe aesthetically it's not the best company in the world or anything like that. It's more like a Ford Taurus than some kind of hot rod that escapes my mind right now. But they work very, very well, and they've held up for sure. I never had any of their product just break, if you know what I'm saying. But as you guys can see here, the crypts are going in pretty easily. Once you get the rhizome separated, They're pretty easy to plant. A lot of people have asked me, as my planting technique over the years has been on YouTube, why do I plant individually? Individually planting is more difficult. It takes more time, but it is the proper way to it's the proper way to plant your plants. You need to give them a little bit of spacing in order for them to grow properly and grow in. You can't just take the whole clump and jam it into the substrate. It's just not right. Will it sort of work? Sure. But this is the proper way to do it. Get yourself a $5 pair of tongs. They really don't cost anything. If you're confused as to where they are, I have an Amazon source somewhere if you go to the main page, and there are links to getting the tongs on Amazon. I believe they're like $4.99 or something like that. They're really not that expensive. Just get a pair, get them. They will save your day and your bacon. And your day's worth of bacon in order to get them. Oh, and Martin L. said rosette instead of rhizome. Correct. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. I did not mean rhizome. The rosette and the roots are what need to be planted. And thank you. Thank you very much for getting it sorted. Eddie is saying that he really likes the substrate. It looks very natural. It is a very kind of natural look. It really does look like kind of the bottom of a crappy stream, realistically, when you get down to it, because of all of the different kinds of substrate I have mixed together. It kind of just looks like something that you would run into out in nature. Joel Gillett has a great point. Aquarium half cycled should be the fish keeper, glass half full, but it's only half cycled. I like it. I think we should run with that in the future for sure. But yeah, Joel, if you do come to Tacoma, if you come out to Tacoma, we will definitely take you around, show you the sights, take you up to the mountains, take you probably to the city, show you the ocean, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff to do here in Western Washington. And it's just, personally, I feel like Western Washington is one of those special places in the world that just kind of has a little bit of everything. It's a pretty cool place. It's in comparison to a lot of places that I have been. So that is that. I just kind of trailed off while talking. But yeah, now that we got this corner planted, like I said, as we go through the week, I'll be planting the rest of the plants. So let's go to the next scene, because I can't remember what the next scene is. Oh, this is just some terrible camera work while I still had the camera on the tripod like a real hero, instead of, I kind of did this really quickly. Looks like a small child got a hold of the camera. But as you guys can kind of see the overall look, I got the Dragonstone kind of offset from the left center. I got this kind of good division right here in the middle. I'm going to be using a lot of the bigger bronze crypts that are going to be going in the middle here. They grow much larger, so I'm going to want them bigger in the middle. And I also scoped a special plant that will be coming later down the road at the store I was at today. That will be a much larger piece that will be going in here, but it is not ready today to throw money at and get in the aquarium yet, and it's obviously being taken care of currently by its current owner, the shop store owner. Sorry about that. I didn't have the video clip set to rewind and loop, but we are getting down to the end. This is the last 7 minutes of today. But I think, honestly, as I said early in the live stream, I'm pretty encouraged as to how this tank is coming together. I think it's going to be a pretty pristine, good tank. I haven't encountered a whole lot of problems. It is still cycling right now. But honestly, buying plants and stuff from a store from these really established tanks is going to help kickstart my cycle a little bit. That is also one of the benefits of getting plants and stuff from a store tank that has been cycled. Definitely helps out with keeping your beneficial bacteria boosted up. And I do have a raw dead shrimp in the sump right now to keep the ammonia fed. So don't tell Vicky about that, and she won't freak out too much. But that's adding a little bit of ammonia to the water so my bacteria will grow. That's an old school trick to just get a frozen shrimp and throw it in the filter. But as we get up here to the end, I wanted to check the emails. Hold on. Email time, emails. Electronic mail from the mailman. Let's see what we got here today. Nothing. There's nothing in the email worth talking about. Just some people saying, what up? Oh, they have a super chat thing that you can remember the super chats. Oh, that's cool. That's a new function. Oh, I can troll through the super chatters. Aha. I think I'm going to come up with a new thing for that because now I have a super chat record. That is awesome. Oh, I didn't realize that was there. Well, I'm kind of a dope and just during a live stream found an new option in the YouTube record. But we'll be running through that for sure. I currently have no email today because all the emails just say what up and thanks. So no real questions in the email, which is good. It's easy to clean that out. TITI is off to bed. I am closing in on ending the live stream for the night. If you have any quick questions, get them in now because we only got a couple of minutes left. And TITI is actually going to bed. Dwayne says I have no mail. I have mail. It's just all stuff of people saying like, cool, man. And we don't get a lot of comments once this uploads as a video later. So if you missed stuff at the beginning, don't worry. This will process as a regular video and then upload. So if there's anything that you guys missed or something that I missed out on or talking about or any of that kind of stuff, you can throw a comment on the regular video and always throw a thumbs up our way. We dig that. One thing I wanted to talk about before the end here, because nobody has any questions, is the biological filtration is coming along. Whoa, I just hit the mic. Sorry about that. Is coming along. I'm cycling this tank, and hopefully that'll help me. Will start my my cycle, the cycling of the tank. Yeah, so it's not half cycled anymore, and will no longer be half full or half cycled. It will be full cycled. Super Ninja ZX 9R is asking, I got up for a second because the dog was freaking out, but what was the substrate? Aha. Okay, so the substrate in the 240 right now is a huge mixture, and has it's a bunch of mixed substrate from a bunch of tanks. At one point in time, I got to what's the word? I got to a point where I had collectoritis. I had too many tanks, and I was breaking them down because I was accumulating big tanks. So the time had come to break down some of the 40-gallon tanks and some of the other tanks that I had and mix them all together. So there is Fluval Stratum, which is the number one in there, Eco Complete. There is some fluorite black sand, some fluorite red. There's also something else in there that escapes my mind. Some ADA. I think there's some ADA Amazonia in there. So there's a wide variety of substrates from a whole bunch of tanks. I actually just ended up mixing them all together and putting them all into the 240, and they've all been pooped on by fish quite a bit. So that's why there's so much chocolate milk, as I like to call it. Chocolate milk. I like to think about chocolate milk. I don't ever get chocolate milks anymore. But when I was a kid, it was kind of my favorite thing. Joel Gillett has a good point. Maybe next time I will reverse and ask you guys a question. At some point in time, I might have to get onto that. Eddie, I'm glad that you're able to join the live stream now also. Those of you out there that are watching this later on, if you didn't notice earlier, update whatever you have so you're able to hop onto the live stream. Now we're going to get to the end of the hour-long live stream today, and I would like to say a special thank you to Feel My Swag 15. I will be naming a shrimp after you for sure. My boy Potato Bro for the super chat. Feel My Swag for the super chat, and Joel Gillett all the way from New Zealand with the super chat. Thank you very much. I is so appreciative of that stuff for sure. And the more super chats we get, the more opportunity we have to get rid of any kind of advertising on this channel, and we'll just kick it right out the window. So that all definitely goes to some future improvements of the channel. Also, it all goes right back into my fish room. All of those super chats just go back in there, and we add them in, and then that will be, that's where that money goes, if anybody was wondering, if any of the super chat money. Special thanks to those three, and everybody else. You also get a thank you for sure, from Dwayne to Eddie to Martin to everybody that's on here, to Brad Faust for showing up, Matthew Waybright, the Super Ninja, Tai Heng as always, and Spicy McRectum. I mean, you know, to be able to even get internet in your igloo is amazing. And anybody I missed, Pro Skater, all those people, TITI, have sleep tight tonight, and we'll be getting done right now because we're at the 1 hour mark. And those of you that don't want your ears to explode, get ready for a later.